In this section, we're going to be solving exponential equations with logarithms. So really what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be running through the power rule and using that to our advantage to be able to solve these exponential equations. So let's just go into a quick little example before we look at the more difficult examples. So if we have 2 to the x equals 30. Now you can sit here all day, you can try to guess what in the world would x be, 2 to what power would be 30, and you would come up with a value, but it would take some time. So it's easier if we could solve this equation. So what are we going to do? Well, if you remember the power rule, if we can get this exponent to come down, then we can solve for x. So how are we going to do that? Well, in order to get the exponent to come down, what we're going to do is we're going to do give me a second. We're going to do log of both sides. And I'm actually going to pick the base of the logarithm to be what the base of the exponent is. So in this case, I'm going to pick log base 2. And it'll work if you pick log base 10 or any base, but you'll see why I picked log base 2 in a little bit. It turns out a little bit nicer. So how does the power rule work? Well, if you remember for the power rule, the exponent can be moved to the front of your logarithm. So you're using this logarithm, where what you do to one side, you do to the other. So I'm using this logarithm to my advantage to be able to bring that x down. Because then from there we could solve for x. So let me go ahead and write that in the next step. So we're going to have x log base 2 of 2 equals log base 2 of 30. And so from there, we could divide the log base 2 to the other side. So it doesn't really matter what base of logarithm you use, because you can always just divide it to the other side. But the reason why I picked log base 2, think about that. If we have log base 2 of 2, what would that be? 2 to what power? Think about what this equals. 2 to what power equals 2? Well, 2 to the 1 power. So they just kind of cancel each other out, right? So we end up with just x equals log base 2 of 30. And then you put that in your calculator. Use your change of base formula, or just pick this one, log base 2. 30, and you'll get 4.91 on this one. And that's how we would use the change of base formula to come up with the answer to the exponential. So check it out. If I put 2 to the 4.91 power, it ends up with more or less 30. Pretty close to it. And so that's how we could use logarithms to solve our exponential equations for us.